Greetings, friends. Today we are going to the beach. But instead of walking to the beach, we are going to fly overhead of the beach. And this is an overhead shot painting of what you would call a bird's eye view or a drone or a helicopter. It's a different view of a beach. You have umbrellas, you have towels, you have sand. I started with some people, but not so much. You have the waves crashing and this really cool, interesting wave line. I guess that's what you call it. And this, it's a different way of painting, a beach scene. You don't really visualize a lot of these from overhead, but I think it's a really, really neat composition, and the viewer immediately knows what it is, especially once they see this good old thing. It's not focusing right. They see this good old frothy, foamy wave line right there. So we're going to get started. Super duper easy. Super duper. I'm going to start with a piece of painted paper. And I did this in the jelly printing class last week. And I started this just a minute ago and my computer crashed on me. So we're going to see if I can do it again. Keep our fingers crossed. So I have on my palette some pink, some red, yellow, kind of a teal color, and green. I'm going to take this and I'm going to do nothing but glob on dabs, dashes, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to go into my red because that's going to make it a little orangey. And you get the picture. We are dabbing random patches of color everywhere. Okay, I'm going to wipe my finger off a little bit. I'm going to grab some of this blue. It's okay if they mix. It's okay if they're side by side. You can have two blues. I'm going to grab some green. So you're going to dab, 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 dab. So it looks like jelly beans or candies or something like that. And you can mix it and you can pick whatever colors you choose. Now, once you have this process complete, I have a dry one right here. And this one has an orange background, but that's okay. Same thing. Same dabby, dabby, dabby. You're going to look at this and you're going to say, where is the most interesting color combinations? I already can see it. I think I want my beach umbrellas and towels to be in this section. I've got yellows and blues and reds. This has a lot of red and pink. I don't really want that one. This one doesn't have enough for me. This one might be okay. This actually could be okay because you could have a lot of water and then less beach area. That one might be kind of neat too. All right, I'm going with that. It's going to be totally different. So the first thing you're going to do is I had a piece of chalk and I'm going to make the water line. And I want this to be more water than beach this time. The other one I did was about half and half. So I'm going to take even my non-dominant hand and I'm going to scritchy a line right across. Okay, that might be my water right there. This is going to be my beach. So now the fun part. You can take a Sharpie, make sure it's dry. All right, I'm trying not to even touch that computer. Now we're going to look for umbrellas. That's an interesting one. You can combine colors. They don't have to be just one separate color. Let's do this one right here. Make it bigger. Let's do this one. Usually on the beach, people sit in clusters. They're kind of like in little pods. So you're not going to have, unless, like a rental company puts these things up, you're not going to have umbrellas that are all in a line. You might have friends and family clustered. Okay, so that's good for the umbrellas. I like that. I'm going to make some towels. Most of the time people face the ocean, okay, with their beach towel. I'm just going to do a few because you could do more once you decide what kind of material you're going to paint on. So if like you did a big canvas, you could do a lot. And I might just leave this blank over here. That's okay with me. Now, we are going to carve out, and by the way, you can always add more umbrellas later. There's nothing wrong with that. We're going to carve out our sand. And I'm going to use white, and I'm going to use a little yellow ochre, whoops, to make my sand. Oh, I almost forgot something very important. Your umbrellas, since they are not flat on the ground, are going to cast a little shadow. So I'm going to take a little bit of black and a little bit of water here, and I'm going to, let's get this over so you can see my brush. I'm going to carve out a shadow. And if my sun is coming from the water to the beach, those shadows will be cast on the opposite side. And I'm just going around one side. Now, your beach towels or your blankets, whatever you have laying straight on the sand or flat on the sand, and they are not going to cast a shadow. It just doesn't happen. Okay, so here are my shadows. I want this to dry really quick, so I'm going to take another piece of paper and blot it really quick. And you can do this or not. You could be patient, but I want to get sand on here, so I'm just going to blot the black off a little bit. Pull it up so it'll be a little bit drier. All right, that will work. Beach time. Sand. Sand comes in all sorts of, we'll say flavors, colors. You could have dark, you could have light, you could have like totally white sand. But we're going to make our sand just kind of a normal beachy color. If you don't have yellow ochre, you could do a little brown, a little touch of yellow. We're gonna move that. I don't want all that. Mix it kind of up. I might even add a little tinge of blue to it, just to kind of make it dirty. A little dirty sand. Okay. Now, usually I'm not really careful around objects, but I do want the tops of the umbrellas to be pretty well defined. So I'm going to use a flat brush. See that flat brush? And I'm going to kind of carve out the tops of the umbrellas. Not where the shadow is, just the tippy tops. Okay. If you happen to paint on your shadow, that's okay. Because guess what? You can always go back in with that black little brush later and add some to it. Okay, so there are the tops. Now I'm going to kind of cut around these towels, and you can add more towels later. And if you go back and say, I think I need some yellow. I did that on my first one. I think I need a little bit more orange. You can go back. And this one is not going to be inhabited by too many people here on this in this picture. Okay, so now, since this is more dry, I'm going to go around my shadows and just kind of fill in the sand. It will start looking like a beach from above. You can kind of come up here. Now, if you're doing this on top of a painted paper layer, you'll have neat colors and textures coming through underneath. And I got a little black on there, that's okay. We'll just let, a lot of black. We'll just let him dry for a minute. We're carving around, laying in that sand. Okay. Sand. Like I said, if you go around your shadow and go right over it, it's no biggie. No biggie. So while I've got you here, I am going to the beach next week. I'll put something on the website. I probably won't do a lesson Monday. I'll probably do 2 the following week when I get back, so you all can catch up. Well, we got some dirty black sand right there. That's okay. We can clean that up in a bit. All right, I'm gonna let this sand sit for a second, and we're gonna flip this piece totally over. All right, we want, if you look back at this guy, we want darker blue, want a gradient, then a lighter, and then that frothiness where the water is meeting the sand. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it around. I'm going to take some dark blue. This is a good old phthalo blue, I suppose. Squirt, squirt. Here's a lighter. This is just a, what is this? Cobalt blue. Squirt a little bit out. And of course our white. Our white is going to make it look how it is, what it's supposed to look like. All right, I'm just going to take a big old honker brush here, because I have one. I'm going to lay in some dark, any which way, dark, and then I'm going to grab some of that lighter cobalt blue, and I'm going to lay it in. Okay, and you just glop it on however you see fit. Now I'm going to get my brush in a little bit of that white and a little bit of that cobalt and add a little variety right here. You could even do this with your non-dominant hand, it would not matter. Okay, because this is how it's supposed to look. Now I'm going to take white. I'm going to wipe this brush off a little bit, and I'm just going to fling it in here a little bit. Da-da-la-la-la. Okay, just like that. A little bit here, a little bit there. Now, I had a piece of wax paper. I don't know where it went. I'm going to use a tissue. You can't do this with a brush, trust me. And I'm going to take it and I'm just going to smooch it around. I might rub some off. Smooch, smooch, twist. If you want to add more dark back here, kind of wash out some of that, you can. Okay. I like the little smooching, because that's a word, right? Smooch. You can add a little bit more white here and there. Okay, I might add a tiny bit more white up there. Just get a little bit on here and drag and smooch. But this is exactly what happens when that water meets, I'm going to flip it around, it's really going to look nice. When that water meets the sand, that whole, I don't know what I want to say, that whole scientific principle or something or other happens when those waves come crashing in. A lot of movement here, people, a lot of movement. So I could go back now, because this is almost dry on here, and I could fix up my sand. Let's see here. This brush is not very good either. That's okay, but you get the idea. So you can fix up your sand. Now I might want to put a few more towels in here. So what if I added I really don't want blue. I stuck my brush in blue, but I don't want blue, and I've already eaten up the yellow here. So here's pink. We'll do a light pink. How about that? Get a little variety here. Maybe we put a few pink towels in here and there. Little pink friends. I like that. And let's get some more yellow. I'm a fan of yellow at the beach. It's bright and cheery. Maybe you wanted to put a whole nother umbrella in, or you wanted to change the color. Well, now I have a lime green umbrella because I have blue on my brush. That's okay. Maybe you want a couple more towels over here. And let's go with some orange. I don't really have any orangey aspects here. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so remember, if you if you add a umbrella, you're gonna have to go back and add that shadow. And what did I do with my black? You should see my t-shirt. I'm sitting here painting and wiping the paint all over my shirt. All right, black, where'd you go? Oh, well, we're just gonna have to make up a gray here. So you're gonna come in and add those shadows. Don't forget, these aren't as deep, but that's okay. And this is the time where you can fix a little shadowing here and there. All right, keep it like that. Now, once you get this how you like it, you can add, I took a paintbrush actually, and I did all my little details just because mine was not dry yet, but you can do paint pens. Paint pens would be fantastic because you can really get in there and work. I did all these little spokes and little wagon wheels and kind of my little outline with just a thin black brush. But like I said, you can, and I think I'll probably have to do the same on here because it is still pretty wet. Let's see if I could find that little brush. That would be great. Well, we will use this one. And of course, here's my black paint right in front of me. Of course it is. But if you don't have a little brush, let it dry, use a Sharpie, use some paint pens. But this is when you actually kind of get to have fun with it. Now, this is way overhead. These details are not going to be perfect at all. You're not going to see it, for goodness sake. And that's, you know, that's the beauty of it. Your mind's eye is reading this as an overview. That one looks like a beach ball. You are flying high, looking down at that beach. You could put different color stripes in here. I'm just going to use probably all black. You can go back with those little shadows. You could put teeny tiny polka dots and different colors on these. But it really starts coming together when you give it those umbrella, I guess they're kind of like spokes, your umbrella spokes. And you could do some in white. It makes no difference. It makes no difference. But like I said, I'm just going to outline these babies in black really quick. The paint pens are the best on here, I will tell you. But I'm really scared to cut this off and let it dry and bring you back. Okay, so you could even do little people. What if you did like little dots and, you know, kind of made a little shadow behind them? Little blobs with shadows. You could here and there. I don't know. I'm not real fond of the people. I think of people-less. I think they're all hiding under the umbrellas. You could do some white spokes. You could do polka dots on these umbrellas. Make them all different. I do like the stripy beach towel. And hey, feel free to do stripes in different colors to really add some variety. I'm just showing you in black because this is kind of a quickie lesson here before this computer decides to die on me again. I bought a new computer. I haven't had a chance to get it all hooked up yet. It's my own fault. Alright, I do like the white. I think the white's pretty cool. Let's go in and do this one. Okay, so there you have it, people. There is your beach scene from up above. I want to do this on a large scale canvas because I think it will be so much easier than trying to, you know, get into all these little crevices and cracks. And this one, you can see this one, I think this one turned out a little bit better. I don't know, they're both kind of cool. But play with the water. Make sure you add that varying blue, that dark blue. Mix in a little white. Add that scritchiness of white and then blot it off because you can't get that with a brush, trust me. And have fun with the paint pens. The other thing you can do also with this is you can go back with a pastel, you know, and add, look at those lines. I'm gonna do it with this hand. Add some of those wavy crashing lines. There's nothing, I love that. You can rub it out a little bit if you want to, or just leave it. You could also do details with your chalk. And I think the chalk lends itself very well because it's, you know, this is from far away. It's not from up close. But if you do use your chalk pastels, make sure you spray it with your fixative. All right, so enjoy your day at the beach. I'm so excited for you guys, and I will see you guys not next week, but the following week with 2 lessons, unless I get very productive and get one more out there. But thank you guys, and have a great week.